All right, everyone, what's going on? It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you're doing? And welcome to the live preview between Manchester United and West Ham at the London Stadium. Guys, we're getting closer to the game. Excited for the game. Can't wait for it to start. It's 5 in a row. And arguably, probably our most difficult game in all weighing up in regards to, we always seem to beat the likes of Man City and Arsenal and things like that. I do believe this is going to be the most tricky game that we're going to be playing in the next. I've been looking at this for the last 3 weeks, and I thought, this game here is the one I'm looking at and thinking, this game's going to be difficult. West Ham. West Ham, they always raise their game. Of course, they do against Manchester United. That's what they're all about against teams like Man United. They do raise their game, and it's up to us to be prepared for this game, of course. And hopefully we are. The great thing, what's going on at the moment, is that we've got consistency. We're on a winning run, and we could win 5 in a row. And of course, certain man will get their hair cut. Everyone can move on from the clownerism, even if that is a word. I think that should be a word. Clownerism. I mean, getting away from clowns, basically. We get away from that. We get away from that narrative about, the cutting hairs and this and that. We concentrate focusedly primarily on football. Now, I think that is what the most important thing is in this game. I really do think so. My lineup is there, guys. I think it will be unchanged. As I said earlier, I can't see how Michael Carrick is going to change anything about the lineup. I can't see how he would do that. I really don't see how he would change the lineup. For me, it wouldn't make any sense to change the lineup whilst we still got a winning. We're on a winning run. Michael Carrick is an interim manager. I don't see how he's going to change the lineup, if I'm being honest with you. I think that will be the lineup going forward, of course, guys. I think that will be the one. The only change I can envision is probably in Bremer. Of course, in Bremer got a little bit of a knock, guys, against Tottenham Hotspur. So maybe Sesko, maybe. But I have heard that and Bremer is fine and he should be playing in this game and it shouldn't be a problem. And Bremer will be fine for this game. So absolutely fine. That's great. Fantastic, of course. And hopefully Man United do the business, of course, on tonight. Now, when I think about West Ham versus Man United, my biggest memory about West Ham and Man United, obviously, is the 1995 last game of the season, losing the league title to Blackburn Rovers. We needed Liverpool to do us a favour, which they did at Anfield, and all we needed to do was beat West Ham. And West Ham turned out like giving limbs on the line. They turned out like bloody defensively. They were unbelievable. We missed a lot of chances as well, but West Ham really, really didn't want us to win the league. And I remember it very well. And Liverpool actually did us a favour. Liverpool actually won the game by 2-1 against Blackburn, even though it would have resulted in Man United winning the league if Man United got one more goal. Unfortunately, we didn't get one more goal. We drew 1-1 with West Ham, of course, if we remember. These sorts of moments, I know they were a long time ago. I know it's a long time ago. I know it's basically 30 years ago. I know that. Bloody hell, time flies. But it does go to show you there isn't a rivalry, I would say, but a bitterness about West Ham and stuff like that, about West Ham and Man United. There's a little bit of a bitterness in regards to that, if I'm being totally honest, about the two sides. We don't really like each other. Absolutely not. And that goes through many, many decades between Man United and West Ham. It is an unsung rivalry there, an unsung rivalry. And West Ham have cost us a couple of titles in the past. So nothing I would want more than Man United to put them in a relegation battle. I would like that, to be honest with you. I would like Man United to put West Ham in a spliff and put them in a bloody relegation battle. Absolutely. That will be the key. And because we haven't been good at the London Stadium and I don't want to play at the London Stadium anymore. It's an awful ground, as we say. It's an awful ground. Big up the community. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome, guys. Get your scores in, get your predictions in, guys. Hope you're doing well. Ephraim, good afternoon, Sal. We need this win game. Absolutely. 15-year-olds probably find this haircut story interesting. I find it annoying and unimportant. Let's focus on United and not on some idiots. I find it insulting on the football club, because obviously I've been a big Man United fan my whole life and I understand the history and heritage behind Man United. People who don't understand the football club, enjoy these sort of things. I do. I find it insulting. I find it annoying as well, Tyborg. It does frustrate me, of course. But hopefully we could put that to bed and sweep that to one side and we could just focus on the rest of the season, of course, and qualifying for that Champions League. Man United have an opportunity to go 8 points in that top four, guys. Away 8 points away from Liverpool. 8 points away from Liverpool. Man United have an opportunity to go 8 points away from Liverpool. And we're sort of going to be drifting away from Liverpool. And that is so important. Once we go 8 points ahead of Liverpool, I can't see Liverpool catching us. I really can't, unless we have a miraculous collapse. I can't really see that happening. But it's very important that we win games like tonight, because there are going to be more difficult games around the corner. As I said, like Newcastle and Chelsea, away from home are going to be very difficult. So it's very important that these games against, obviously, Everton, West Ham away, that we negotiate well and we win, of course. And then we can obviously negotiate the more difficult games against Newcastle, of course, coming thick and fast. We've got Aston Villa as well. We've got Liverpool at home. We've got a few big games coming up, guys, and we have to really focus on winning those, winning the games that we're supposed to win, and then we can move on to the more difficult games that some people are doubting us that we can't win. Everton, of course, will be a difficult game, but obviously tonight is the game I've been looking at. I'll be honest, guys, I've been looking at this game for a couple of weeks, and I've been saying like West Ham away, London Stadium, under the lights. It's going to be difficult, freezing cold. It's going to be difficult, and I really hope that Man United show some character tonight. I really hope that they exert themselves and perform to the ability that I expect them to do. Now, my prediction for the game, I'm going with a 3-1 win for Manchester United. I'm going with a 3-1 win for Man United in this game. I really do think Man United will do well in this game. I think they'll win. I do. I think Man United will counter well, and West Ham won't have an answer, in my opinion. At least I hope they won't have an answer, in my opinion. I think Man United will win the game by 3-1. I think 3-1 is probably my most popular prediction during the season. 3-1 is my most popular prediction. Have got a few right, a few wrong as well. I did nearly get the other one right, the 4-2. I nearly got that right, but against Fulham didn't quite turn out that way. We won 3-2. But I'm thinking Man United, I think it won't be easy. It won't be like a 3-1. I think it'd be like a difficult game initially, and then Man United will run away with it, sort of thing. I think it'd be like that. West Ham are very good up front. They got good strikers. They got a decent midfield. They're more mobile than us in midfield. They've got a lot more athleticism in that midfield position, which Man United don't have. So obviously we're going to have to be a little bit cautious every time we go forward as well. But the great thing about Man United at the moment is that we got good attackers. We got obviously Mbeumo, we've got Cunha, and we've got Fernandes as well. And obviously, Sesko can come off the bench. And one good thing about Man United at the moment, our bench is looking a lot more stronger than it has done over the years. Our bench is looking quite good than it has done over the years. And we got a lot more experience on there. Obviously, that won't last forever, obviously, because Man United are going to sell a few players, and a lot of those players that will be on the bench won't be at Man United anymore. I actually don't think Xerxes will be playing for Man United anymore next season. And I think Mason Mount will, Ugarte, Casemiro, obviously Anthony, Rasmus, Sancho, Rashford are going to be out the club as well. I added on top of obviously Lindelof and Varane, who've left the club already. And then we're going to think about Maguire, who can leave the club as well. And then you're looking at how many players have left this football club over the last, year or so. It's incredible. The fact that a lot of these players have not been replaced. They haven't been replaced. But that is my lineup, guys, on my right-hand side. Let me know if you would make any changes. This is a lineup that I think that Michael Carrick will pick, not necessarily me. This is just what I think he would pick. If it was me, I would replace Dalot with Mazraoui and Mbeumo with Sesko. But that's the only changes I will make, to be honest with you. But obviously, we have to keep a winning team, stick to the winning team. And it doesn't make any sense to remove any players, to change any players, of course. Absolutely not, in my opinion. Of course, I would love us to win the game comfortably. I would love us to go out there and absolutely smack them up and then move on to the Everton game in 2 weeks. Have a good little 2 weeks rest. Casemiro. Tell Casemiro to put his feet up. What I would do if I was Man United, in a team bonding thing, I would actually, after this game tonight, if Man United win, I would take Man United to Dubai. I'll take them to Dubai, I'll take them to Dubai, get them some hot weather training and, get them fit and stuff like that. And, have a little bit of a rest until the game against Everton. I would do that because having a break is not necessarily a good thing, in my opinion, especially if you're winning and you got that momentum. We had it before under Ruben Amorim when we were winning games, and then suddenly we had to have the international break. If we remember, the international break was around the corner, and then we ended up coming back from the international break and having a bad run. At the end of the day, guys, and yeah, I want us to stay away from that. I want us to keep away from that. But yeah, look, my prediction for the game is 3-1. This is my team here. Guys, what are your predictions for the game? That's what I want to know. I want to know your predictions for the game. Let me know what your predictions are, and we can go from there, of course, guys. Guys, don't forget to smash a like on the video. If you guys can do that for me, that'd be absolutely fantastic. If you could do that, guys, it'd be brilliant. Get the algorithms rhythming, guys. The rhythm is a dancer, especially for YouTube, of course, guys. So if you guys could do that for me, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Look, we're getting into the business end of the season now. Everything is all about results. We're not even too concerned about performances now. It's not about performances. It's about results. We need to get results. We need to get results and points on the table. That's what we need to do, points on the board. And getting into that top 4 is very important. We get into that top 4. Look, it'd be fantastic if Man United can come second place. It would be amazing if Man United can come second place. But I'm not going to cry if we come 3rd, 4th, or 5th. Just as long as we qualify for that Champions League, just as long as we set ourselves nicely up for next season. And getting in that Champions League can have such a positive impact on the club, especially in the transfer window. At least I hope that it will do, because I hope that the money that we will earn from the Champions League will be reinvested into the team rather than going in the Glazer pockets or the Ineos pockets, of course. And as we know, with Ineos, they're buying a cricket team now. They're only interested in commercial deals. That's all they're interested in. They're not really interested in Manchester United, so to speak, the Glazers and Ineos. They're more interested in those commercial deals, which is why the Glazers are buying a cricket team, of course. I hope that if Man United get into that Champions League position, it is all football related. The money will go towards transfers. The attraction for Man United will be more potent because obviously Man United in the Champions League is very attractive. Man United are the pioneers of English football in the Champions League, as we know. So it will be a good thing for our future. And it could lead to a domino effect of success for Man United, in my opinion, being in that Champions League. We can't go too long without it. We've left ourselves in a magnificent position. I actually believe if Man United win, Man United won 4 in a row at the moment. If Man United win another 4 in a row, I think Man United win the Champions League. That's it. It's over. Probably Man United probably come second. You never know. We've got some difficult games to negotiate, though. Obviously, Aston Villa, of course. We got Newcastle United away, which is going to be difficult as well. That's always going to be a difficult game. Newcastle away. Chelsea away is going to be difficult as well. Aston Villa at home. Liverpool at home as well. It's going to be difficult, of course. So we got a lot of games to come. So the games we're supposed to win. Today, we need to win this game. And this is a game we're supposed to win. This is a game that the likes of Arsenal will win. Maybe even Liverpool will win. These are the type of games that they win. And it's a game that we need to win. And we can't be getting draws and stuff like that. Of course, context plays a huge key. Context in these games does play a huge key as well. So a huge impact as well. So we'll have to wait and see. But guys, thank you, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Welcome the 9 people in the house. Hope you're doing well. Don't forget to smash a like on the video. If you guys can do that for me, that'd be absolutely fantastic, of course, guys. Really good to have you on board, of course, guys. But we are leading up to the game tonight. And look, a little bit of anxiousness in regards to that, guys. A little bit of anxiety in regards to West Ham, obviously, because we haven't won there in a while. I think 5 years now. So obviously, we're going to be a little bit nervous. Tybug, Sal, if the building from the Victorian era are protected, why isn't Old Trafford as a building and United as a listed building? It should be. And this is something that I've been touching on for a long time because the history and the heritage of Old Trafford is like no other. We actually got more history at Old Trafford than some of those listed buildings that you're talking about, some of the Victorian buildings that you're talking about. Obviously, Old Trafford survived the war. It was bombed, as we know. And, and then we played at Main Road for a little while, which was Man City's old ground. And it survived all that, and not only that, the legends that have played at Old Trafford, the greats that have played at Old Trafford, when you think about the greats that played at Old Trafford, is second to none. I don't understand, Tyber, why Old Trafford isn't a listed building. It should be a listed building, and it shouldn't be knocked down for some greedy Glazers and Ineos to have this vanity project. I actually don't think Man United will play well at a new stadium. I really don't. I think it will be very difficult for Man United. I think it will to play at that new stadium. I do think that. People think that it's going to be a bed of roses. It's not, because the great thing about Man United and Old Trafford is it's a spiritual heritage that, you can't buy it. This is the reason that the likes of Real Madrid, the likes of Barcelona, they stay where they are. They stay where they are. And this is why a lot of people at AC Milan and Inter Milan want to stay at the San Siro, because obviously it's not only a physical home, it's a spiritual home as well. And a home that has history, and who has played at Old Trafford? Everyone. Some at Busby's, the Busby Babes, Duncan Edwards, George Best, Sir Bobby Charlton have played at Old Trafford. When we're going to move into some commercial ground that won't mean anything, it's soulless. It hasn't helped Tottenham. It hasn't helped Arsenal since they moved to the Emirates Stadium. It hasn't helped them. So I don't think it will help Man United either moving to a new stadium. I really don't. And if it did help Man United, it would probably take years and years and years for us to get to that level again, I would not move away from Old Trafford. The only reason that their excuse in regards to not rebuilding Old Trafford is the train tracks behind the ground, of course. But that could be negotiated. The only thing is they're looking at it and thinking, oh, it's expensive and this and that and this and that. No. The only reason they're looking at moving stadium is because they want the hotels, they want the regeneration projects, they want the apartments, they want the commercial side of things, they want the renaming rights of the stadium, they want the concerts, they want all this stuff, And the thing is that if we rebuild Old Trafford, they can't take the name of Old Trafford. But if they move stadium, they could take the name of the stadium and sell the naming rights of the stadium. And this is why they're so interested in it, because they're in line to make so much money. And this is the problem. We're run by the wrong people. The wrong people own us at the moment. They don't have the interest of the football club at heart. And this is why I will always bring it up almost every single day. The great thing about Man United and West Ham, though, Man United and West Ham is a traditional Premier League game. And West Ham will always give their utmost to try and divert Man United, to try and destroy Man United, to try and stop us winning league titles. And in this instance, West Ham will be trying to stop us from qualifying for the Champions League. West Ham don't like us. We don't like West Ham. And it'll be great if we can solidify their relegation possibilities, because that'd be absolutely brilliant if we manage to do that. I would love that, guys. And because West Ham are a very smart team, and I would like to relegate them in their London stadium. I never forget one of my friends said a few years ago, he said about West Ham. He's a West Ham fan, one of my friends, right? I never forget what he said a few years ago. He said, oh, West Ham, they got this new stadium and they're going to get in the Champions League in a couple of years. This was about 2013. And he said, they're going to get in the Champions League. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. They ain't done nothing. I think they got in Europe once. Champions League, no, obviously not. But I think they got in Europe once and won the Conference League, of course, as we know. But the Champions League didn't happen. Of course it didn't. And they're going to end up playing in the Championship against Tottenham in the Championship next season. That's what's going to happen. I see that more chance that happening than West Ham ever qualified for the Champions League or something like that. But I did warn them. Of course, I did warn them about that. But it's got, the Premier League now is very interesting because obviously we've got Tottenham. Tottenham could be in a relegation battle before we know it. They could be in I already think they are. They got some very difficult games to come. Arsenal and Liverpool. They got Liverpool away and Arsenal at the London Stadium. And they do not have a good record against Arsenal. Of course they don't, they never do well against Arsenal. So Tottenham are going to relegate it. West Ham are in big trouble if they lose tonight. This is why we have to be prepared for the game tonight, because they're going to be up for it. They're going to be willing to fight for this game. That's what it is, guys. And because it's a relegation on stake. We got Champions League, they got relegation. That's what it's all about, guys. Absolutely. And hopefully Man United change the narrative and win there finally. Win at the London Stadium finally, because I don't want to be having any regrets at the end of this game. I don't want to be, I don't want to be going on anyone else's show having to justify what happened with Man United then. I thought Man United were going to come second. I thought Man United were going to come there. I want Man United. I want us to be a confident Man United fan base. I want us to be a positive Man United fan base. And being positive means beating West Ham United at the London Stadium, and beating them well as well. And that would be absolutely fantastic. We do need to win the game. I'll be disappointed in a draw, because the reason I'll be disappointed, I'm not saying that we have to win every single game until the end of the season. We've got 13 games left. I'm not saying that. The thing is that we've got much more difficult games to negotiate. That's the only reason I say that. I say that Man United need to win the game because obviously we got, as I said, Newcastle and Chelsea away. Aston Villa at home, and all these games that are going to be more difficult in theory. And this is why these games in particular we have to try and win, and we have to try and do well. I would say that. In regards to moving on, after this game, of course, 2 weeks off, there's the League Cup final, obviously at the weekend, and not that we really care about that. Of course we don't. When Man United are in the League Cup final, it's a Mickey Mouse trophy, isn't it, at the end of the day? You remember when we were in the League Cup final with Ten Hag? Oh, no one cares about that Mickey Mouse trophy, rah, 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 all that nonsense. You remember that? Yeah, I do. I remember that. And but I will be doing a watch along for the League Cup final, definitely, guys. But it's nice. It's half term here in the UAE. So I'm just going to relax. After the game against West Ham, I'm going to relax. I'm going to take it easy and do the streams and just talk about how Man United can progress. And really do hope that someone drops points. I know that Liverpool got Sunderland. We know that Sunderland haven't lost at home this season. Sunderland have beaten Arsenal at home this season. So I think, Liverpool drop points, Man United win, Man United ahead of Liverpool by 8 points, which basically means, unless Brentford win, of course, basically means Man United are just fighting with Chelsea at the moment for that top 4 position. The top 5 isn't guaranteed Champions League football at the moment, although it's looking likely considering that, 7, I think, of the 8. Was it 5 of the 8 teams are in the Champions League, qualified, of course. 5, I think, was it? 5, yeah, 5. I think all of them. I think how many English teams qualify for the Champions League this year? That's quite a lot, to be honest with you, if I'm being real. Goodness me. When I look at the Champions League, and then Tottenham qualify for the Champions League group, my goodness, Man United would have done as well if we were in it as well. Yeah, the quality has definitely regressed in regards to that. But yeah, look, I have been to the Bowling Ground, Upton Park. I have seen difficult games against West Ham many, many times, and I know what they're all about. There used to be 2 firms, West Ham firm, Man United firm. West Ham used to come up to Manchester fearing us and stuff like that back in them days. It was a big rivalry going on back then, but I'm taking it way back, of course, guys, absolutely. The key players for this game, obviously, Jared Bowen is one player that seems to turn up against Manchester United regularly. We have to rely on our counter attack, especially in the open spaces of the stadium. It has got open spaces, and I think that Man United should be able to exploit those spaces. I think that Brian Mbeumo will have a good game. I've got a feeling he's going to have a good game. We need him to have a good game today. And obviously, that's if he plays. I've got a feeling he will play. I've got a feeling he will start. He did limp at the end of that game. He did limp at the end of Tottenham game. So obviously, it depends what the swelling is like and stuff like that. Hopefully, it was just a small knock and he'll be all right for the game. Because I actually think that Mbeumo will play a huge part today, exploiting the high spaces. And he's playing very well as well. I mean, we don't need any risks here in regards to moving him out of the team and bringing someone in, because we're playing well. We're playing well enough to win. We're playing well enough to. I'm not saying this is vintage Man United. My goodness, it's the best we played in years, because it isn't. We'll be lying to ourselves. It's definitely not. We're getting the job done. And as long as we get the job done, that's the most important thing. Right now, it's not about playing vintage tiki-taka football. It's about getting the job done tonight under the lights at West Ham. I'd much rather us play poorly, win 1-0, than play fantastically, draw 4-4. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's all about that, Football's about fine margins, and we drew against West Ham early in the season. Of course, at Old Trafford, 1-1 was a very disappointing result. Should be winning games like that, of course. And Man United should have a few more points on the board right now as we speak. The other teams behind us are quite lucky. We don't have more points on the board, but that's just testament to how this league is this season. It's an example of how this league is this season. That these games are not guaranteed. And I do believe Man United are playing the most exciting brand of football in the Premier League. I do think Man United are becoming the most difficult team to play against in the Premier League at the moment. And I'm not exaggerating. I do think that. I think when I see Mbeumo, Cunha and Fernandes and Ahmad, I look at this and I look at this quartet here and I see danger. And obviously, I think that a lot of teams are starting to fear us now. I'm not just saying that to have sound bites and buzzwords. I do actually think that a lot of teams fear us at the moment. Tyberg, My prediction is 2-1 United, but I wouldn't be surprised if it ends 1-1. Some funny feeling today, but hopefully I'm wrong. You know, Tybo, I've got a similar feeling to you as well. I've got this similar feeling because obviously we haven't won there in a while. And we know what West Ham and United are all about, don't we? That this is what they thrive off, these kind of games. This is their bread and butter. This is what, this is what they wait for all season, is Man United to come to town, stop Man United winning the league. And that's what it is at the end of the day. This is what they do. And I would say, yeah, absolutely. We have to start well. That's for certain. We can't let West Ham get into the game. Absolutely. Kenny, 3-2 is your prediction, Kenny. Big up, Kenny. Oh, that's going to be another 3-2. Another nervous game, another nerve-wracking game for Manchester United, 3-2. Yeah, I'm going for 3-1, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's 3-2 or something like that, or 2-1 like Kenny said, like Tyborg said. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a scoreline like that, because obviously these games are, difficult. Ever since I can remember, West Ham away has been difficult. Ever since I can remember watching football, West Ham away has been one of those teams. Obviously, in recent years, we've been worse. I remember wasn't it under Jose Mourinho when Jose Mourinho shouting at Martial against West Ham away for Martial to come tracking back. He's not tracking back and stuff like that. And he threw Martial under the bus. Do you remember that? That seems like years ago. It was years ago, to be honest with you. Yeah, it was a long time ago. It's just when I met my wife. A long time ago, absolutely. And it's been one of those bogey grounds for us recently. Just like Tottenham have been our bogey team. And hopefully we've ticked a lot of things off the list. We beat Liverpool away this season. We didn't beat Liverpool away since 2016. We've beaten them. We beat Arsenal away. We hadn't beaten them in a couple of years, apart from the FA Cup, of course, but in the Premier League. We beat Man City easily. We played well and we swept them off the park, and now it's about time we won at the London Stadium. And let's do it. Let's do the full list, the full bucket list, I would say. Let's do it. I think we can. I really do think we can negotiate it well. CP, what's going on? I hope you're doing well. I believe we will finish second this season. You're like me, mate. Our free-flowing attacking football will destroy the Romanian opponents. The fear factor is back. Glory go Man United. Big up CP. Love the comment, my friend. Yeah, look, I went on a couple of channels. I was saying that Man United are going to come second. People were laughing at me, CP, And I don't know what they're laughing at, because I think that Man United have a possibility of coming in second place. They really do. Snap me, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Snap me. Big up yourself. Hope you're doing well. Everything on stake tonight. Everything is on stake tonight. There's no point going beating Arsenal and Man City and that, and going not winning against West Ham. West Ham are crap, right? And we have to understand that. Yes, we haven't done well at the London Stadium, but we have to understand where West Ham are in the Premier League. They're there for a reason, Yes, they've got a couple of here and there. They've got some quality players. But so have we. We got better players than them. So we should really look at winning this game. I really do hope we do. I really do hope we do negotiate this game well and we go on to win this game comfortably. And obviously then we can prepare for the next game in 2 weeks, and we worry about that when it comes. That's what I would say about that. We worry about that game when it comes, of course. Absolutely. We won with Amorim at Anfield with fans before Pep did with City. Yeah. Arsenal. When's the last time Arsenal won at Anfield? Snap me. When was the last time Arsenal won at Anfield? No. Amorim has beaten everyone. Amorim beat Man City at the Etihad, at the end of the day, So we were always close. We were always in the top 3 XG all season. We're in the top 2 sometimes XG of the season in regards to goals and goals assists. Now, when you're looking at Man United in 2026 have the most goals. Full team. Man United have the most goals in 2026 so far. And we remain the only unbeaten side in 2026, guys, in the Premier League. There you go, guys. There you go. There's a little bit of knowledge there, right off the cuff. Absolutely. Yeah, we're still the only unbeaten side in the Premier League in 2026. Long may that continue. Can Man United go on some kind of generational run in regards to the rest of the season? Why not? Why not? History is there to be made. Lots of history will be made if Man United won the last 13 games of the season. That'd be incredible. Even if Man United were unbeaten from now to the end of the season, it would be incredible. It would be amazing if Man United became unbeaten till the end of the season. So that would be goodness me. And when you're looking at the Ruben Amorim record, Amorim only lost 2 games in 11. You're looking at bloody how many games? So you'll be looking at 11 plus 17, 18, 19. 27, 28. Isn't it? 29 games, 2 defeats. That's what we're looking at. If Man United go unbeaten until the end of the season. People don't sleep on Xerxes. Carrot ball suits Joshua 1-2. Give up a go football. Josh will be our super sub. For now, yeah, we need him. We need every single player that we can possibly have at the moment because our squad is very important. However, I do think Xerxes will leave at the end of the season. I do think that obviously he needs first team football. We are actually stifling his career. It doesn't look like he's going to be in the Dutch national team. The World Cup is coming, and obviously because he hasn't played first team football, he used to be in the Dutch national team. He's going to miss out, sadly. I like Xerxes. I like his personality. I don't think the Premier League is for him, though. I'll be honest with you. He's too slow, sluggish, not quick, and it's nothing to do with manager. It's him. He's too slow. Having watched the Premier League for 40-odd years, he needs to be quicker and needs to be sharper, in my opinion. I don't think he's necessary Man United quality. A bench option's fine, but I think Man United will end up selling them in the summer, definitely. Do you think Sesko will start? No. Unless the only way I see it is if Mbremo's injured, obviously. And Mbremo was limping at the end of the Tottenham game. So it does depend on Mbremo. If Mbremo is fit, I think he is fit. I'm hearing he's fit. But I think Sesko is such a good option to have off the bench. I really do at the moment. And I don't think that Carrick would be wise to change the team just now, at the end of the day. Snap me. Man City did the first double against Liverpool in 90 years. Their first double, yeah. Their first double in 90 years. Unbelievable. It's their first double in 90 years against Liverpool. Wow. Man United do it regularly. Man United done it regularly. We've done it many, many, many times in the last 90 years. I'll tell you that, right? We've done it loads of times, guys. Absolutely, we have. We enjoy playing Liverpool. I actually, sometimes I look at the games against Arsenal and Liverpool and City, and I think, can we play them every single week? Because we seem to win those games more than we win against the West Hams and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, but we can't, unfortunately. We have to take the games as they come, of course, guys. Absolutely. Look, Man City were fairly fortunate in that game, I thought, taking my biased hat off, just taking it off for a second. I do think that they were a little bit fortunate. Last time I think we just before Klopp took charge. Yeah, I think we beat them. I think I'm not sure if Louis van Gaal did it. I think it was 2016. I think it was 2016 that we done a double over Liverpool, but we used to do it a lot under Alex Ferguson. Yeah, I mean, I remember us beating Liverpool all the time under Alex Ferguson. It's never been easy. Obviously, 2 games. We used to draw one sometimes, but yeah, look, generally we have had a good record against them. As I said, I would much rather play Liverpool away than West Ham. I know that sounds funny. Big up, Snap Me. Big up, my friend. I know it sounds funny. I do know it sounds funny, but I actually would prefer to play Liverpool and Man City. They're games that we can negotiate better. I'm looking forward to seeing the way West Ham set up today, because obviously West Ham, they do play 3 at the back sometimes. They are very narrow. Sometimes they rely on the width and the counter attack. So very important that Man United negotiate this game and be ready for whatever formation that they're going to come out with. I'm looking at Nuno Santos's comments in regards to the injuries. He said that his team, West Ham, have got some injuries and he's not going to say who. I would be prepared myself for a bluff. I think he could be calling the bluff. I think he could be mind games. So I think Man United should be ready for mind games with Nuno Santos. I think it could be mind games. I think Nuno Gomez could be playing mind games with Man United in regards to the injury situation. Because I'm not hearing anything about any players injured. So Nuno Gomez could be like, Nuno Santos could be saying, we got injuries, but I'm not going to say who, you know what I mean? So that we think, we get a little bit of false security and stuff like that. Maybe it's just buying games. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But most important thing, look after ourselves. Go in that game today. Press West Ham from the start. Put West Ham under pressure. We have the ascendancy. We're in good form, guys. We've won 4 in a row. Let's go and make it 5 in a row, guys. Let's go and make it 5 in a row. That'd be absolutely fantastic. And then we can just have that rest between now and the Everton game, of course. Obviously, many of us are going to be saying, I wish we were playing Everton tomorrow. I wish we could play Everton tomorrow, because obviously you got the momentum. And I do believe that momentum is important. I do believe that. And I think sometimes it's not all about having rest. Sometimes it's about continuing that momentum. Part of the reason we won the treble was because of momentum, because of that as well. So, yeah, look, but what I would do, as I said, if we beat West Ham, I think I would take the Man United team to Dubai or something like that and have some hot weather training and some rest at the same time next to a pool. That's what I would do, and prepare ourselves for Everton. Definitely. And that's what I would do, in my opinion. I don't know if they'll do that. They used to do that in the past, didn't they? I think go to Dubai and things like that, go for hot weather training and stuff. And obviously it adds camaraderie as well between the squad and that, and obviously and that, going away and getting to know each other anyway, but getting the vibes and stuff and getting some memories going and some good vibes going and stuff like that. And then we continue to the Everton game. Everton, man, what a bad game that was for us. You know what it is, Snap Me? The thing about football is so funny sometimes. It's just like the reason that we beat Arsenal with 10 men at the Emirates last season. Once you play against 10 men sometimes, it's very important that you get an early goal. We were lucky against Tottenham that we relatively got an early goal, didn't we? We got a goal straight afterwards. Because the longer it goes on, the more confidence the other team get in defending. It becomes like a defense against attack sort of thing, a rear guard action. And I think football is like that sometimes. Sometimes I actually think, Snap Me, I actually think that Man United would have had more chance beating Everton with 11 against 11 than 10 against 11. Let's not forget, one of Ruben Amorim's first games was 4-0 versus Everton at Old Trafford. 4-0. Relatively the same Everton side as well. So football's so funny. But, what I would say is that, and I'm going to say this very, very clear, guys. Ruben Amorim was probably one of the best things to happen to Manchester United. And I'll tell you why. It weren't because of football. It weren't because of tactics, because maybe he was a little bit naive and ignorant in regards to tactics. But one thing I would tell you that he installed a discipline. He got rid of toxicity. He got rid of troublemakers. He tried to change the culture at the football club. He brought us back in regards to squad unity, and that one thing there is very important as well, just as important as the football. He called out the owners when he left. So that's, we have to show that to him. We have to show that respect to him. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, in regards to that. Yes, I think United could have scored more against Tottenham if Tottenham didn't get a red. I think so, but I would say, Snap Me, that Tottenham were playing pretty well. They had better possession, better chances before they had the red. I would say that. We had our parts, but they were looking dangerous. We would never know. We would never know. But one thing I know is that we probably would have beaten Everton because Everton just sat back, and that's what they love to do. It gave them more excuses to sit back. Tottenham sitting back is not Tottenham, so Tottenham are more of a flary sort of team that go forward, so it was a game where I think the Tottenham game, if you read the game, if it was 11 against 11, it'd be more difficult than that for us. If it was Everton, if it was 11 against 11, it'd probably be more easy for us because Everton might put more players forward and we might exploit their spaces. And that's what happens in football. You see people, right? They look at football very simplistically. They think, we played against 10 men. How can you do that? You know how many times in massive games where 11 against 10 could not get the better? The 11 could not get better of 10. How many times that's happened over the years? I remember 98 World Cup, England against Argentina. Bloody 3/4 of the game is 10 against 11. There's many, many times, of course, it happened. United is actually doing everything good right now. We do bangers, tiki-taka, and we even show how actually good at set pieces. We are a model club, which everyone should think as an example. Big up, Snap Me, big up. I think that Man United are coming back. We always were going to. We drew a lot of games. We were very close to winning a lot of those games. A big problem of Man United, what happened this season is the AFCON. That destroyed us. The Aston Villa game, the West Ham game, the Wolves game, the Bournemouth game. Imagine we had Mbeumo and Ahmad and Mazraoui in those games. Man United would be right up there at the top of the table right now. But we predicted this before the season, didn't we? We predicted that this would happen if Ineos didn't back the manager. If he didn't back the manager, we predicted this would happen, of course. So, Yeah, look, we can't cry over spilt milk. The one thing I would say about it is that Man United are the most entertaining team in the league right now. I think actually, like when people talk about, I think if people talk about the the other teams being boring, I think Man United are holding the league up at the moment, and they always have. I think it's good because if not, Afcon Amram would have stayed. Yeah, Amram might have done better. You don't know. This is a new manager bounce. We can't get carried away. Amram, this is Amram's team. Cunha and Bremo are Amram's. Lamens is Amram's. Dorgu's Amram's. So we got to show respect. He might have done the same as Carrick. We don't know. You think that Carrick might have not lost. He might have lost to Aston Villa as well. Let's wait and see. We don't know. This is a manager bounce, and we have to take it as a manager bounce, and we have to take it each game as it comes. The one thing about football, it doesn't deal with absolutes. Sometimes you have to feel a little bit of pain to change things, and we were trying to change. We were on the ascendancy. We were trying to get more dominating in possession and stuff like that. We lost 2 games in 11 under Amram. 2 games in 11. But people need to stop mentioning Amram. They need to stop talking about Amram, because at the end of the day, Amram was the best thing to happen to this football club, because he changed the bloody culture at this football club. Carrick wouldn't have done that. He wouldn't have got rid of Rashford. He wouldn't have got rid of Garnacho and players like that who cause them problems. He wouldn't have done that. And he done that, and we should be appreciative of that, and we move on. And that's what we should do. The intercity firm was quite famous back in the days, but United's army was also respected and feared. Yeah, the Red Army was very feared. Obviously, a lot of them got arrested. Not all of them don't exist anymore in regards to freedom. They are, they were about back in them days, of course. And now obviously a lot of them got in trouble. So they don't really exist anymore. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, they don't really exist anymore. And I do believe Man United are now a little bit of a soft touch. Now, I'm not going to analyze everything. I said it when Ruben Amorim got sacked. Like, I'm going to support Michael Carrick, but I'm not going to overreact. I've said it at the beginning. I'm not going to overreact. And I'm going to take every game as it comes. And I'm looking at this game tonight, and it's another test for us. Let's pass the test with flying colours, and we move on to the next one. Because this could go south very quickly, This is not some tactical masterclass. This is not a assistant manager, coach masterclass. It's not, because I know the assistant manager, I know the coaches and stuff like that from the England days. Didn't win nothing with England, right? With a brilliant team. So I'm taking this like, okay, it's a new manager bounce. Let's see how it goes, and let's take it game by game. And if Michael Carrick gets to the end of the season, there's a big decision to make if he gets to the Champions League. Will I be his supporter? Yes, I will be a supporter. I will support him and say, okay, why not? Let's see what it does. Let's not paint him in the same brush as Michael Carrick, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Let's see what can happen. If he gets to the end of the season and he qualifies for the Champions League, and we're playing vintage football and, winning games like we're winning, and playing badly and winning as well, which is a good trait, by the way, then I'm not going to turn my back on Carrick. I'm going to say, okay, why not give him the opportunity? I know that Ineos would love to give him the opportunity. I know that they're going to love giving Michael Carrick the opportunity, because he'd be cheap. He's not going to answer back. He's not going to ask for transfer funds. And he's going to be satisfied with what he's got. I hope he isn't. I hope he isn't, because we are not far away as people think. And we never be. Even under Ruben Amorim, we are not as far away as people think. Man United are not. We are a couple of midfielders away from actually challenging, to be honest. And maybe a left back, maybe that, and stuff like that. We are actually that. I think that. And I think that, I want the biggest thing I don't want them giving a job to Michael Carrick and then not backing him because it's Michael Carrick. So we don't need to back Michael Carrick and stuff like that. I want them to back him like they were backing Luis Enrique, like they were backing Ancelotti, like they were back Tuchel. I want to say to Michael Carrick, what do you need? What do you want? Guy. And I want him to be honest and open. You can't be nice all the time. You can't have this nicety all the time. Great managers are not nice all the time. There's going to be times in this squad. Let's not forget, some of those players have been playing for Man United since 2013, 2014. You think all of a sudden they've got a new lease of life and they become these world-class, not world-class, but performers for Man United and never injured and things like that. These are manipulators, and we have to take them as such. Until we see a consistency that lasts longer than bloody a few months, then we can only judge them with that. Of course, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer won 8 games in a row. 8 games in a row. You know, we were dancing and singing songs. And as soon as he signed that contract, we all know what happened, guys. Don't need to tell me. They declined. Yes, United is the most entertaining club, while Arsenal are anti-football. Man United are Man United at the moment are holding the Premier League up in regards to football. Even under Amorim, the 4-4 against Bournemouth, the 4-1 against Wolves. You know, these games, the Aston Villa game was entertaining as well. Man United have been entertaining. You know, lately we've been even more entertaining. We've had the 3-2 against Fulham. We had the 2-0 against Man City. We had the 3-2 against Arsenal, of course, as well. And obviously we had the Tottenham game as well, which was fantastic as well, you know. So, yeah, look, you know, 2-0 against, obviously, Tottenham. But I am like, how would I say it? Very, very cautiously optimistic about the future at the moment. And they've got big decisions to make. Look, in regards to Tuchel, there's a lot of talk at the moment in regards to Tuchel coming to Man United. I don't know what to make of that, guys. My number one choice, if it's not Michael Carrick, will be Luis Enrique. That will be my number one. That will be my number one choice. You know, is Luis Enrique. I think Tuchel and Carrick is more like, yeah, you know what I mean? I'm looking forward to seeing Tuchel in the World Cup, how he negotiates the World Cup, how he does in the World Cup and stuff like that. Snap me, who was United Army? It's a firm that used to be Man United firm. If you know, you know. Have a look at it, mate. Sal, do you think we can challenge for the title next? It's very hard to tell, Ephraim. There's a couple of very, very key points here. Man United qualify for the Champions League. Man United attract better caliber of players. Ineos back the manager. They buy a midfield. If they can do that, brilliant. You know, yes, I think we've got a chance. I don't think we're a million miles away. I really don't. When you're looking at certain games, the Everton game, the Wolves game, the West Ham game, the Bournemouth game, you're looking at those games, and let's say we won those games. 2, 4, 6, 8. Man United with 8 more points. We're in a title challenge. Just those games there. I'm not even thinking about the games from earlier in the season. Just those games there, Man United in a title challenge. That's 8 points right there. Let's say we didn't lose to Aston Villa if we had Mbeumo and we had Ahmad and we had Mazraoui. It's 10 points, right? 9 points right there. You know, can Man United qualify a challenge for the league? If he's backed with a proper squad. Because if anything has been proven this season is how important a squad is, let alone if you play in the Champions League. If you play in the Champions League, you are going to need a proper squad. And look, guys, we're going to be missing next season. This is what, realistically, kind of. Players who won't play for Man United next season. Rashford, starting for the top. Rashford, Rasmus, Sancho, Anthony, Casemiro, Ugarte, Mason Mount, Maguire. That's 8 there already. 8 already. Collier won't be playing. That's 9. Already we got 9 players right there who won't play for Man United next season. Added to Varane and Lindelof, who left last season. Right? So that's 11 players in 1 year we've lost. 11. How many players have we brought in? 4. So how can Man United survive like that? You know, how when we got 8 less players in the squad? You know, how can we survive? We can't. They're going to have to go out there and prove to us, rather than looking at a cricket team for 1.8 billion, rather than looking at a cricket team, they need to go out there and prove to us they care about what happens to Manchester United on the pitch. They need to show us that they care about Manchester United on the pitch. And that happens in the summer. And if it's Michael Carrick, right, I don't want them saying, oh, you know, it's only Carrick here. It's only Carrick here. He can cope. You know what I mean? We'll deal with it. Carrick needs to have the power and the tools, just like a Luis Enrique, just like a Tuchel has to. You know, because this squad is not big enough. And we're losing players every single season. Now, we're losing a big player in Casemiro. Casemiro's influence is on the next level. The only thing with Casemiro is that he can't play more than 60 minutes. We're going to be losing Casemiro. And we're not going to be losing Casemiro because Casemiro chose to leave. We're losing Casemiro because the board didn't want to offer the new contract. They wanted him off the books. We need to replace Casemiro with a player that's on par or better. Now, who is that player who's going to come in that midfield who's going to be on par or better than Casemiro? And that's what we need to look at. There's not many out there. The only one I can safely say is Elliot Anderson. I look at Elliot Anderson, I can say, that's the guy for Man United. He's ball recovery. He brings the ball forward. He's interceptions. He's passing between the lines. Everything about Anderson reminds me of a proper Manchester United player. So he's the only one that I look at and I think, yeah, he's the one that can replace Casemiro. But then obviously you've got we've got to replace the other players as well. You've got to replace them. Guys, we are one injury away, which is Casemiro away from capitulation, from collapse. We're going to come tumbling down like a ton of bricks. I'll be honest, guys. This is why it was so important that we did some business in January, but we haven't done that. And if we weren't going to do business in January, if we weren't going to bring any players in, what we should have done is do some groundwork. Do some work for the summer. Because obviously the summer, the World Cup, players leave 3 weeks before the World Cup. Players come back 3 weeks after the World Cup. Maybe we should have done that. So that when we get to the summer, we can finalize those deals that we started in January. We could have done that. Now we've left ourselves in a problem where we need to buy about 8 players, minimum, by the way, and we're not going to do that. We're going to buy 4 players and, we run out of time. And part of it is going to be this, right? Part of this is going to be chasing a new manager if we have to have a new manager. That's what it is. They're going to spend weeks and weeks and weeks chasing a new manager so they run out of time in the transfer window. That's what they always do, But for now, we worry about that when that comes. When that day arises, we worry about that. Because we got a big game tonight against West Ham. It's a game I've been looking at for a while. Away to West Ham. West Ham are good attacking wise. West Ham got some good players. Let's see how we do. Let's see how we do against that. Let's beat West Ham and then we move on. 5 in a row. That guy gets his hair cut. We delete that from our history and then we move on to proper things and proper games against Everton and so forth. And I hope we do that next season, this season. I hope we really do. And if we, guys, whether we come 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, it's enough for Man United as we qualify for the Champions League. And 5th place should qualify us for the Champions League as well. So, look, at the beginning of the season, I said it. At the beginning of the season, a lot of people were saying, if Man United comes 6th to 8th, that will be a good season and blah-de-blah-de-blah. And I was telling people, look, we're going to get in the top 4. People thought I was delusional. They thought I was delusional. I said we would. I said we would. But that's not because of Ineos. That's not because of the Glazers. That's because of Amram and Michael Carrick. That's not because of them. Amram left us 3 points from 4th. Carrick has carried it on well. And that's because of them. That has nothing. That's in spite of the board, not because of the board. And I want people to remember that because I know I know that Wilcox, I know that all these people are going to be, Vivel and Barada are going to try and take the accolades for that. For Man United qualify for the Champions League, but no. Amram and Carrick are the reason we're in the Champions League. And that is a fact, right? Amram left us 11 games, 2 defeats, left us 3 points from 4th. Carrick is going on a killer run. Fantastic. He's taking a baton and we're going on in a good way. And now we're overtaking. We got the pace now. We're overtaking certain teams, And I don't think any credit should be given to them. All they need to do, all Ineos need to do, is concentrate on getting us some new players. Scout. Just like Amram said, scout. They should be scouting, getting us new players. That is their job. That's their job, not taking the accolades for what other people have done. Because they've had a complete shit show. Let's be honest, guys. They're winging it at the moment. It is a complete shit show at the moment. This is not good. The way that the club has been run, it hasn't been good. And we have to be honest about that. We have to be real about that. They're failing. If I was to rank Ineos out of 10 right now, it would be 3.5. If that. There is nothing there that suggests that they've done well. We bought in Bremer, we bought Cunha. We should do. We're Man United. It's our money. It's not their money. It's Man United's money. We should buy those sort of players. We should buy a new midfield as well. You know, and we should have players in the midfield. We didn't fix the midfield, did we? We didn't fix the fullbacks, did we? We got a goalkeeper last minute. If we didn't get the goalkeeper last minute, perhaps the opening 2 games of the season might have been a little bit better. Maybe we would have drew against Arsenal. Maybe we would have won against Arsenal. Who knows? If we had Seny Lamens in goal. We all know how competent Seny Lamens is, you know, and how good he is. He definitely wouldn't have flapped on that corner against Arsenal in the opening game of the season. We certainly wouldn't have lost that game, in my opinion. I really do think that, guys. You know, but that's how football is. Fine margins at the end of the day, you know, and tonight will be fine margins. Like I say, every time I look at a football match, I don't just look at it for the fact that, yeah, we're going to win. We're better than them. Blah, blah, blah. We are better than West Ham. We should win against West Ham. I also think about referees. I also think about bad decisions. I also think about red cards and VAR decisions and things like that. You know, in particular, when you go to the likes of the London Stadium and that. You know, I always look at that. I always look at it and think, you know what I mean? You know, we got a whole number of scenarios there that we have to negotiate and stuff like that. I always feel that way. You know, the key men in this game for me, obviously Bruno Fernandes and Buemo, guys, are key players for me. Ahmad is a key player, of course, as well. You know, Cunha, obviously, is a key player for Man United today. I think Man United will be all right in that area. Mainu and Casemiro. I'm looking at that team and I'm feeling relatively confident. I'm feeling relatively confident that Man United can get the win today. How I wish, fun show. How I wish we Edison, or Anderson, Stiller, Tonali, Edison, or Balebo plus Water. All of them would be nice, fun show. It's what Man United need. Let's be realistic here. Man United, you need Angelo. Man United need Anderson. Man United need Stiller. Man United need Tonali. Man United need Baleba. Man United need Wharton. We need about 4 players. Man United need 4 in the midfield. Yeah. You know, when we're going to be playing in the Champions League, bloody hell. You know, Baleba would be a bench option. For me, Stiller, Anderson, Tonali, or Wharton are the best for me. Those are the best. Baleba, I'm not sure at the moment. I'd rather get Adam Scott because he's not playing well. And we can't just sign Baleba because his name's Baleba and it's fashionable. We get Baleba. I think Baleba has bots, you know. I think Adam Scott and players like that are better than Baleba at the moment. So I don't think we're going to be spending the money on Baleba. At the moment, what I'm hearing is that Man United are disappointed with Baleba's performances. Because what does that show? It shows weak mentality. It shows a weak mentality. That's what it shows. Wharton, Stiller, Tonali, Edison, Anderson. Edison's fell off as well, by the way. Good players to bring in. Baleba would be a bench for Man United. Baleba's not better than Mainu. Absolutely not. You know, Mainu's better than Baleba at the moment. We have to look at things subjectively and objectively. I know Fun Show that he's one of your favorite players, but he's not good enough at the moment. He's not good enough for Man United. He's got talent, no doubt about that, but you have to show it week in, week out and stuff like that. Keep mentioning these names thinking that I'm going to change my mind. Not going to flip-flop for me. I watch him every single week. He had an absolute shit show the last game. You know, and we got to be very, very careful where we tread. Because if we sign him for 65 million, 75 million, and he fails, we're effed, guys. We're effed. Man United don't need projects. Man United need play. That's what they need. Go out there and play. That's all Man United need at the moment. They don't need projects. Anderson has had Man United on his case all season. Man City on his case all season. Anderson performing. Stiller has had Real Madrid on his case all season. Man United on his case all season. Still performing. You have to perform. You have to. I absolutely agree with Anderson, Stiller and Tonali and Wharton. Absolutely. Edison and Baleba, I'm a little bit questioned about. I would question those signings. I would. Guys, thank you for watching the watch along. I am saying that for the match preview, I am saying that it will be 3-1 to Man United tonight. Guys, I really hope Man United get the 3 points. That's all that matters at the end of the day, guys. I want to thank everyone for joining me today. You absolute diamonds. Please don't forget to smash a like on the way out, guys. If you guys can do that for me, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Also, don't forget to put your notifications on whenever I go live anywhere else, guys, as well. Very, very important. Don't forget to join me for the game, guys, please. Very important, guys. If you guys can join me for the game, that would be magnificent if you guys can do that for me. I am Sal Warner. This is the match preview between West Ham and Man United. Glory, Man United. Let's get it in, guys, and let's hope we do the business against the Hammers. And let's win at the London Stadium for the first time in bloody 5 years. Take it easy, guys. See you for the watch along. Peace.